Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. Today, I'm very excited to check it out. Brainstorm from Low. This is for 2 players. I'd say ages 6+, and it's going to take you as long as you want the game to play. It doesn't give you a set number of rounds to play to. You decide. This game lets you be your own boss. And in Brainstorm, they took the immensely popular tic-tac-toe and turned it into a game. An intriguing new twist on tic-tac-toe that'll keep everyone fascinated for hours. 2 players pit their skill and luck against each other. The one who builds the highest scoring 3-in-a-row combination wins. Lightning-fast action. Each game is timed with new exclusive instant reset timer. Portable. Take it anywhere. Play it anywhere. This is an old tic-tac-toe variant with essentially some Scrabble rules thrown in and a sand timer for some odd reason. I'm sounding skeptical, but hey, the game might be good. Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Brainstorm, the portable take-it-anywhere game, even on this very small desert island. So in Brainstorm, first and foremost, we have the handy-dandy back of our box, which is, it's pretty well done. You know, it definitely could be clearer. They're not the best rules in the world, but you'll figure out how to play. You'll get the gist. It's also a really simple game. And I like how they do include right over here the general rules. Like, if you just read this, gloss this over, then follow these rules, you'll probably figure out the game. Interestingly enough, it talks about how you can play this game solo, but then it doesn't actually tell you how to play the game solo. So I'm not exactly sure how you would play tic-tac-toe against yourself. I was actually pretty interested in trying out the solo mode, but they didn't mention it in the rules, so not quite sure though. So in Brainstorm, what you're going to do is you're going to play on an agreed upon number of rounds, and whoever has the most points at the end of that number of rounds will win the game. What you're going to be doing? Well, you're going to be rolling these dice, and you're going to be playing tic-tac-toe. One person will be O, and one person will be X. So I'm just going to actually run you through a game of the game, and you'll quickly see what's going on. Now, before we get started, I want to mention, this is actually a really cool little area right here. This is where the dice are going to go. They got a little slot to put the sand timer, because, yeah, you need a sand timer, apparently. And then you look on the board, you're going to have triple spots, double spots, and pre-made X's and O's, which you can use those to connect yourself and get, you know, tic-tac-toes. So let's show you how it works. So the first thing you do, you're going to roll the dice up, and you are going to divide the dice into different sides. So all the X's on this side, all the O's on that side. Let's see. So this is also going to tell you who goes first, because I got 7 O's. Actually, I got 8 O's, and this person got 7 X's. That means I'm going to go first. And that is how that's going to work, which means that, in fact, if this happened, then X would go first. And if this happened, 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 X would go first. And no, I'm not joking. This is actually how the game is played. There is the potential for X to get 12 and O's to get 3, or vice versa, because if you look on the dice, they're completely balanced. So 3 X's and 3 O's. Like, I thought it was going to be like weighted, how, you know, like some dice will have 4 O's and some dice will have 2 X's. No, it's 3 and 3 on all of them. Whoa, just boggles my mind. But that's actually a terrible example, so let's just roll the dice up real quick again. And, yeah, because obviously we don't want to go 12 on 4, and see what happens. So, O's over here, X's over there, then we'll get this game started. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, this is a realistic roll. Sure, let's see how it works out. So O has to go first because they have the most, and they put on the start spot, which is kind of an advantage, I will say, for the second player. So they did kind of balance it at least a little bit. So now X has to play a die touching any single one of these, anything already played on the board. So they'll go right there. They'll go maybe right there. And then O, I don't know, O will go down this way because they're really trying to make their way up to the triple spot because obviously they have a whole bunch more dice. And look at X. Bam! X has nailed it down. They have gotten themselves a tic-tac-toe. Now, when it comes to tic-tac-toes, how it works is in the same row, you can't have more than 1 tic-tac-toe. So even if I filled up this whole entire thing with O's right here, it would only be 3 points. At least that's how I'm pretty sure it works, because it does say in the rules, and I do, maybe someone else can decipher this a little bit better than me. The player has cubes in a single row cannot be used again to form a row of 3 in the same row. So I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Now, I'm not sure if that also means diagonally, like if I went completely diagonally, if it wouldn't count. We played that didn't count, but I'm not quite sure. But let's get back into this riveting game. So next we got this. Boom, gonna get ourselves a tic-tac-toe. X at this point is probably just gonna try and block, so they're just like, yeah, double. Now here's the thing. You can play on these pre-made spots, but if you want to block them, you have to do it before the person has said tic-tac-toe. So right now, O could not go here to block this, but back when it was just like this, O could have went there and blocked it. So back to O, you know, they kind of canceled out the doubles, but yeah, we'll go... Actually, O is not in the best spot right now. So you know what? O will probably just go there maybe, and then X will go, I don't know, here, trying to block it, I guess. I don't know. And then O will go, bam, right there, and then X would probably, I don't know, do this maybe? And then O would go, boom, biggity. So there's 30 points. They'd probably go maybe right here, and there's 50 points. And then we'll go one more time right there. And so that would be the end of a round. Also, we were supposed to set up the sand timer. And I was, hey, you didn't set up the sand timer, Bauer. That's because the sand timer takes like 3 minutes. And it's really stinking annoying because it says if the sand timer runs out, then the game's just immediately over. But the sand timer takes so long to run out that what's going to happen is you're going to play the game, and then you're going to play the round, and then you're going to get the scoring done, and then the sand timer is going to be to like here, and then you're like, oh, well, crap, do I turn it back upside down? Or just let it keep running out? And then eventually you're going to be like, you know what we should do with this? Just get the hell out of here, stupid sand timer. I said get. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend using the sand timer. It doesn't really add anything to the game. But let's go over how the scoring works. How it works is you're going to get 10 points for tic-tac-toe, 20 points for doubles, and 30 points for triple. Pretty straightforward stuff. So let's see how X did. So X got 10, 10. X got 10. X got 10. Oh my gosh. That's great. Good for you, X. Let's see how O's did. So O's got 10, 30, 40. Since they can only do one row, we're going to do 70. So I believe X got 70. So 10 to 70. Now, it does say in the rules that, if someone else rolls a whole bunch of O's or a whole bunch of X's, then the way the game's designed, it's going to balance itself out eventually. No, that's not how the game is designed. If a game was designed like that, then there would be 4 X's on some and 2 on the other, and just bah! I know this is supposed to be a non-biased. This is the part where I just explain the rules in an unbiased manner. I kind of pooped the bed on that one. But that, in a nutshell, is how you're going to play Brainstorm. Alrighty then, Brainstorm from Low. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros. Let's go over the cons. First, on the pro side, the game is easy to learn for the most part. The rules could be a little bit better, but for the most part, it's easy to learn. And it's very easy to teach. It's just, hey, do you get a tic-tac-toe? You get 10 points. If you get it on the double, you get 20 points. If you get it on the triple, you get 30 points. And that's pretty much the entire rules. Also, the game normally doesn't outstay its welcome. I will say that. It's a very quick and snappy game, which is good. I did like the components, everything except for the sand timer, which I don't really know how they would get around that because it just takes a long time for the sand timer to run out. And I think most people are just going to end up chucking the sand timer to the side. But hey, I really did like this. I thought this was really nicely done. The dice are nice and wood, and they're fun to roll. It comes with a dice cup. The box insert is actually really useful. It holds everything nice and tight in place, even though the box is, well, we're on the pros. We're on the pros for us. Let's talk about the good stuff about the game. Let's highlight why people might want to get this game. Don't do it. It's based on tic-tac-toe, which everybody knows for the most part, everybody's familiar with, so you could get other people who are not exactly gamers to play this game and just say, hey, it's like tic-tac-toe, but it mixes in some Scrabble. That might intrigue them. That's what I got. Moving on to the cons. Brainstorm is not a very good game for a variety of different reasons. So let's start off with the big glaring elephant in the room, which is that at the beginning of each round, you are just going to roll the dice, and whoever has the most of their particular letter is going to go first. Now, most of the time, that evens out to 8 and 7. Most of the time. I've probably played 10 to 20 rounds of this in my classroom, / watch the kids play 10 to 20 rounds of this, because I like to sit there and watch them play and watch them learn the different strategy and whatnot. So I've seen / played 10 to 20 rounds of this. Somewhere in there. Probably closer to 20. And most of the time, I'd say about 50% of the time, it is 8 to 7. Which is not terribly imbalanced. Because I feel like going second actually does give you some benefit. But I did have stuff like this happen. And like the thing in the example happened. And a lot of the time, it felt incredibly unbalanced. And that swings the game drastically. So let's say you're playing 3 rounds, and first you have an 8 to 7, and then you got an 8 to 7, and then you have a 5 to 10, and you're like, oh, well, I guess I lost the game. Because it gets to a certain point where it's like, oh, you've played your 5 dice? Well, you've played your 5 dice, here I have 4 more dice to play, which means I can pretty much guarantee myself to get either 20, 30, 40 points, get a whole boatload of points, and that's lazy game design. They even said in the middle part. I'm trying to hold this stupid box up. Here, coffee, do your job. It's lazy game design. The way they should have done it, and I think this would have actually balanced it out some, is just made it so that half the dice had 4 X's and half the dice had 4 O's. So, well, I guess you really couldn't do that because it's 8 to 7. But just make it at least a little more probable that you're going to get 8 to 7. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And I could be wrong on my math there, but I'm sure there's a way to make this better. Hey, I've got a crazy idea. How about you take turns going with 8 versus 7, and you just play 4 rounds, and that's the highest score after 4 rounds or 2 rounds or any even number of rounds wins the game, so that way it's completely balanced and even and fair. But no, we want to throw in this random luck element where, whoop-de-doo, I only rolled 4 X's, so you're going to go 11 times, and I'm going to go, it's just stupid and dumb. The sand timer's dumb. The sand timer you're not going to use. Maybe, no, there is no maybe. Even if you go super slow, you're not going to use all the sand timer, which means that you're going to have to flip it back over, and then you're going to have to wait 2 minutes for the sand timer to get back to the state in which it was. And it's not going to take you that long to tally up the score. It's not going to take you that long to get the game set up. So the sand timer is just stupid and pointless, and I hate it. I hate it. The rules could have been better. Some of them are slightly confusing. Like, for instance, I know you can't score more than once on a column, right? On a row. What about a column? What about a diagonal? It doesn't specifically go out of its way. Also, they do have a scoring example to show you how to do the scoring. They have 2 big scoring examples. It's like, that's not where I need the examples, because the scoring is really simple in this game. Give me examples on how the play works. Also, this really annoyed me. This annoyed me way more than I thought it was going to. I was reading the box, and it said, there's a solo way to play this game. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never played tic-tac-toe by myself. And I am very curious as how solo tic-tac-toe works. So they talk about it on the box, but then they don't actually tell you how to play solo tic-tac-toe. Hate you, Brainstorm. That is the last straw. I'm sure there's some other things that I haven't talked about. Oh, the dice cup. The dice cup is stupid and pointless. Why do you need a dice cup? Oh, the dice go in here. You roll the dice once per round. One day, YouTube, I will work through all these crappy old games, and I will only review new / relevant / maybe released in the last 10 or 15 year hobby games. One day I will get to that point. It will be a fantastic day when I'm not still reviewing crap like this. So Brainstorm from Low. Oh, for ages 8 through adult. I said 6. You can easily play this to 6-year-old, as long as they know tic-tac-toe. Is it a good game? No, it's not a good game. It's boring, it's unbalanced, and the only kid that I played with that liked it was actually the girl who got, 9 or 10 X's, and she never got the shaft on that. I think it happened 2 or 3 times where it was 9 to 6 and 10 to 5 and 11 to 4, and every single time it worked out in her favor. So she won most of the games, and she was the only one who actually ended up liking the game. The rest of the kids thought it was boring, and I agree, it was boring. Would I rather play tic-tac-toe, though? Is it better than tic-tac-toe? Yes. Yes, it is. So there you go. Even though tic-tac-toe is more balanced. How bad is that? Your game is less balanced than tic-tac-toe. There you go. That's Brainstorm from Low. Done talking about it. If you enjoyed this review, please try to click on that subscribe button down below. If you want to support the channel, click on the show notes down below. Click on that little Amazon link. Buy anything on Amazon. It sends a couple pennies my way. It really does help support the channel. And in the comments below, let me know. Tic Tac versus the little dot game where you got to fill in the lines, and then every box you make, you got to put your initial in, and that's your point. Definitely the dot game. Dot game over tic-tac-toe all day. Now, that being said, it's a lot more work setting up all those dots, but I think the actual end game is substantially funner than tic-tac-toe, which for most people just ends up at cat 99% of the time. So there you go. That's Brainstorm. It sucks. Let me know in the comments below. Tic-tac-toe or the dot game. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.